welcome into the very first, the inaugural episode of Chalk Talk Social, the flagship podcast of Sideliner Sports. Also launching today in full. Make sure to go check out the website everywhere. It's called at Sideliner Sports on socials, TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you go for social media. Check us out on YouTube as well at, obviously you're here to listen on YouTube or Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to podcasts. But at Sideliner Sports, wherever you consume media, and then www.sidelinersports.com to find us everywhere. I am Austin Krieger. I am the host, the founder of this whole ordeal. Hopefully you are loving what we're going to put together for you today. The whole gist of what you're going to get out of this podcast going forward and forever with Sideliner Sports is the most fan-involved coverage in sports, right? We are putting fans at the core of everything we do. Our most memorable moments, and you'll see it today, is going to be with fans. Today we'll kick it off that whole series with a little fan v fan debate. We'll have a fan weigh in on the AL MVP debate. I'll get you to email my co-host quick to introduce himself after I rant a little bit longer. But in the grand scheme of things, what we're going to be doing with Sideliner Sports is we're bridging that old school talk at you sports media concept that really built up the landscape to what it is today, bridging it over to the new school community-oriented model. We're letting fans decide the content, the coverage, and then we're not only letting them speak it to existence, we're letting them join the conversation itself, right? We are literally putting fans in the control of sports coverage. What that means is, like I said, fans will join us every single show. We'll bring fans on here to talk to different media guys, media personalities around sports, athletes, right? Bring down the barrier between fan, media personality, athlete, whatever it is, right? Let's give fans the actual platform they need to just live their sports fandom to its fullest. I could keep going on, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to get used to a lot of fans on here. Strongly encourage everyone to go join us on Patreon. That is going to be your ticket to joining us on the show long term. We're going to close that off at our first 100 members. First 100 members, it is $1 per month for your entire existence in the Patreon. That is $12 a year. That is less than a meal at McDonald's. You know, we used to live in a proper country where a McDonald's meal you could get for $2. About $12 now. As a McDonald's meal is your ticket to Patreon. Join us long term. So I'm going to stop rambling a little bit. That is your insight to Sideliner Sports. You're going to see a ton of blogs come out from us. It's the same concept. The blogs are going to be really spoken to the heart of fandom, the pulse of each fan. So when you see our articles out there, you see our blogs from our writers, you're going to know that those headlines are coming from the pulse of that fan base, is what they're talking about, is what is mattering to them. That's what we are going to be covering. You do not need to dig through a bunch of shit to get to the stuff that's going to matter to you as a fan of that team. It is going to be the headlines you're seeing on all of our blogs going forward and really all of our content going forward. So I'm Austin Krieger, like I said, longtime Packers fan, Wisconsin native, born and raised out in Seattle, Washington now, but that does not change the fandom. As you can see, Giannis behind me, Bucks and 6 every single year. We're going to live by that, live and die by that. It's go Pack, go till I die. Bleed the green and gold. But anyways, that's just a little bit about me. I'm going to kick it over to my co-host, Iman Islam, right now. This guy's entertaining as hell.
Let's go, world. Welcome. I am Iman Islam. I am a Norfolk, Virginia native, but I am located in the DMV right now. I am a ex, and I got to say this right now, a ex Cowboy fan. No longer. I've been a Cowboy fan for 42 years of my life, and this year I have decided that I am going with the Raven flock this year. I cannot put up with that. Hey, I will be the voice of reason. I will be the voice of the truth. I am the voice of all the old Al Bundy story fans in the world. No, we didn't make it to the level of these pros, but we have some great glory days from Polk High. So, hey, just get used to me. I'm going to get used to y'all. It's going to be a great ride. They call me Mr. Dead Is. When you hear that, you know it's real.
When you hear that, we've hit the mark when you hear that one. Oh, man, I'm excited, man. You know, when I found your email or I got referred over to you, another sideliner of ours that will, fans will get used to real soon. But I was very excited about everything you bring to the table. I think it's going to be awesome. You know, the fact that you managed to escape Cowboy fandom to find greener grass. God bless your soul, my man.
Yes.
Right? Especially as Jerry's trying to trade potentially or, do wrong by potentially the greatest pass rusher in the history of football. He's going to send him over to Green Bay real soon, it sounds like. You got to have a
Y'all
good
can
time.
use them better than they can use them because with or without them, they won't be good. So hey, I'm going at the right time.
Yeah, they're not getting past the divisional anyways. It doesn't matter who they get. So yeah. So what we're gonna do today? Let's just get right into it. Right? I told y'all this is gonna be a fan-involved show. That is how this is gonna be different. That is what you can get used to. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna introduce our producer / third co-host, Joey Gelman. He's gonna come here. We'll let Joey do a little bit of introduction on himself as well. Joey will be doing a bit of news desk with us. Like I said, producer mode. What is up, Joey? After Joey kicks it off and introduces himself a little bit, we're going to get into our very first right away. What better way to start the most fan-involved coverage in sports than with a fan v fan face-off, Bears versus Packers face-off? You'll find out why that matters to Joey in a second here.
Hey guys, how we doing? I'm Joey, as they said. I am your resident Chicago Bears meatball, season ticket holder family for 40 plus years. That's tailgating every Sunday, skirt steaks on the grill at 9 a.m. for a noon kickoff. We like to do it fancy, and that's how we're going to do it. But no, I'm really excited. This is an awesome concept. Getting the fan perspective is amazing. I've been a producer. I've been a host in the past at a number of different shows and stops along the sports world. And the most exciting element is when you have those true fans that really care coming in and giving their opinion and adding to a conversation that frankly needs it. So I'm stoked to be, along for the ride with you guys. And I'm excited to dampen all of your Packers love as best I can each week, putting some holes in that cheese each time. And, I got to grade it. That's what I do.
Yeah, good luck. Now it's going to take a serious grader, the grader of the gods.
As much as I love that, I hate sitting behind someone with a grader. I'm like, I know you're on my team, but I can't see anything over your damn head. The cheese head, I'll survive. The grader, it's about 6 foot tall. So
yeah, and that's why this is going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful too that you're a diehard Bears fan. Joey's going to be at pretty much, you said like damn near every Bears game this year. I'm pretty sure. So we might see some
it's a religion and a sickness, so it's good.
Same. That's Packer football, baby. That's what we live for. And I've a little bit. I've come from the Packer media sphere a little bit, writing for Cheesehead TV. Shout out Aaron Nagler and Corey Bank. You get those guys over at Cheesehead TV, bringing me out there and giving me a platform to build my brand with the Packers audience and just in sports media in general, and just test out some things with my own writing and getting to know what fans are all about with that team, and just in general helped really inspire this idea. Not inspire, but build on it. So I'm thankful for those guys and that opportunity helping me get to here today. But folks, you can get used to some contentious stuff on here. We'll moderate, but look, at the end of the day, we want fandom. We want to feel the fandom. We want to feel that authenticity, that passion, that rawness, right? If you come on here and say some funky stuff, you're going to get cut out the show, and that's fine. You can expect that. That said, if you start saying some good things, if you're knowledgeable, entertaining, good banter, whatever it sounds like, we're going to let you in the long term start asking an interview question to an athlete, your favorite athlete, to your favorite media guys, right? We're going to reward awesome audience members coming on the show with what I'm calling a take token. Consider it your golden ticket to come on the show with us. You cash it in whenever there's something that's firing you up. You're going to let us know through Patreon. We'll be like, all right, bet, you're coming on the show with us. You're going to talk it. You're going to rip it for a minute, and then we're going to break it down. Right? So that's what fans you can look forward to with really good engagement with us. And we're excited as hell to have every fan from across sports, football, basketball, baseball, college, hockey. I don't give a damn what it is. Y'all going to be on here with us. You're going to be in the midst of sports coverage. So to that, let's kick off the very first segment in Chalk Talk Social. Also, if anyone doesn't know why it's called Chalk Talk Social, Chalk Talk, right? Like there it is on E-Man screen. Like there it is. Like Chalk Talk. Think about it in the, just at the coach's room, just whipping up the schemes, the plays on the old chalkboard right there, just dialing it up. I don't know why it works. It's just going to work, and the logo looks cool, so we're running with it, right? But at the end of the day, we just want fan voices from the nosebleeds, the depths of the nosebleeds, to the folks bumping shoulders on the sidelines. So fan v fan face off, the very first segment. It might not be called that long term, but we're going to do a fan v fan face off to kick off the show. This is going to be fun. It's going to be our very own Joey Gelman, the Bears fan, versus our very first fan that ever joined the show. This is going to go down in our history books no matter how long this show goes. Brennan McMahon. Let's bring on Brennan. Brennan, what is going on, fella?
So hey, well, welcome. Thanks for having me, gentlemen. I'm excited to be here. I'm looking forward to this. This is gonna be a fun time. Been a long time Packer fan since the day I was born, I could say. Been a long time owner as well, season ticket holder family. So been to many Packer games in my past here. Living out in Milwaukee right now, so we try to get up there several times a year for a game or two. But yeah, happy to be here. Happy to be a part of the inaugural show.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you being here. So, how this is going to work now and in the future, right? We'll just run you guys through about 3 questions. Just let your fandom speak, right? Ideally, you got to be a little bit respectful about each other. But it's your team, it's your fandom, it's your passion. Let's hear it. I'll step in if y'all start throwing hands at each other. Amen. I'll step in if y'all start, getting at each other's throat a little bit too much. Hey, and it just might happen one day. We don't know, but that's gonna be the fun of it. And that's what's the beauty. We don't know what we're gonna get with this, and that's gonna be a bit fun. And like I said, we'll just cut out the shit we need to cut out. If it gets that far, it won't get that far today, but maybe in the future. I know Eagles fans out there. That's my secondary team. Always has been. I know those Eagles fans are. Start getting those on. It's gonna get a bit crazy. But first, so what we're gonna do is run you guys through a bit of questions, and we're gonna let you take it away. We'll moderate. We'll chip in a little bit, but we want to hear it from the voice of fans of actual teams. And I know, Joe, you're a part of it, but, man, no matter who you are, no matter what show or team or podcast or company you're a part of, you're still a sports fan.
Hell
right?
Yeah.
So, absolutely. So let's dive into it. Fan v fan face off. The very first question I have for you gentlemen, I want to get into a division prediction of the NFC North, right? That's y'all's division. That's my division. Right, E-Man's a little bit of he's gonna bring some unbiased opinion here, right? You're outside a little bit,
For sure.
so let's see. The first one, we'll let fan guest Brennan, get into it first. What will the standings look like? Let's hear a bit what you think the standings in the NFC North are going to look like at the end of the season. Who's going to start out hot? Who's coming out of the gates hot? Who's going to finish the season hot? Who's got what it takes to make it all the way?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's tough looking at the Packers schedule. Obviously, I think they're going to come out hot. I think they got a few first easy games, and then their schedule just progressively gets harder. But if I'm going to take a prediction on who's going to come out of the North, it's going to be the Detroit Lions. I mean, until they prove otherwise, the Detroit Lions to me are the superior team until Green Bay proves that they can match that. So, I mean, I've got the Lions coming out top. I think they're going to go 13-4 this year. I think they're going to have a very good year. Their schedule doesn't look terribly hard. They've got a few rough matchups, but I mean, I don't think it's anything that they can't get past to win the division there. But I got the Packers going 12-5 this year, kind of right behind the Lions. Kind of split in the division with quite a few with the Lions, with the Bears. I think they're each just going to win their home game. Vikings this year, I don't know. They're kind of a toss up with JJ McCarthy. So I have them going 5-12, but at the same time, I'm not sure what JJ McCarthy is going to offer out there. So as long as he can get the ball out to Justin Jefferson and Addison, I don't really think he's going to have too much of an issue there. He's got Jones in the backfield yet, and I know they're pretty high up on their second back there. So I think it's going to go Lions, Packers, and then I think just the Bears and Vikings right after that to follow. But it's going to be an interesting year interdivision. I think everybody this year kind of has their tough matchups out of the division, especially with Kansas City, Baltimore. I know playing quite a few of us, so it's going to be interesting, kind of visiting Cincinnati, Baltimore, Kansas City. Just having those games in the division is going to be it's going to make the run for the division pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think you made a good point about the start of the schedule there, especially with, I think the Lions, very good chance coming out on top. But, the Packers getting the Lions week 1 with 2 brand new defense or an offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator. Look, they might roll back a lot of the same stuff, but when you got your play callers, 2 brand new play callers, let's be honest, Dan Campbell's great for the locker room. He's great for motivating the boys. He's not a play caller. So when you got 2 brand new shot callers a part of it, there's going to be bumps in the road, even if it's minimal. You're coming off. You're removed from 2 of the best play callers in football. It's going to be very hard to replicate that success and be as impactful as you were, at least right out of the gates. So, like you said, Packers getting the Lions right out of the gates. I think it's winnable for that reason in a big way. And then we'll see how the season goes. But Joey, what's your rebuttal there? He's got the Bears out there in 3rd place, possibly 4th. Where are you thinking on that one?
Well, I'm going to say they're not going to be in 4th place. I'm too sick of that. So I'll give them a 3rd or a 2nd place. But I am trying to figure out what's the bigger wild card. Is it the unknown of J.J. McCarthy, but he's with Kevin O'Connell, and we saw what he did for Sam Darnold last year, and there could be a big rise there that keeps it alive? Or is the more unknown what the Lions are without Ben Johnson? And that's not just me tooting the horn because he's the Bears coach. I'll get to that later. But to your point, what you said, Austin, those are the two best play callers. And when you lose those guys and you're starting over with a team that was very good, but was very reliant on their system, especially with a quarterback like Jared Goff, they could take a step back without a system and a coach that works for him. So that's where I think a Vikings team with an unknown but a really good offensive mind can sneak up there. Same with the Packers and LaFleur. They're a consistent organization that keeps winning, and it pains me to say it, but they keep winning. And so I think that's where you can go, probably Packers, Bears, Minnesota, Packers, Bears, Detroit, Minnesota, and just not knowing where that Minnesota, Detroit may flip-flop because of the coaching changes and the QB unknown. You just don't know. And I can't put my Bears last because I'm not allowed to. My dad will kill me. So that's what I'm going to do.
The Bears.
I think it's crazy. I wasn't expecting to hear Lions in potentially third place there. When you just consider the amount of talent on that roster, you would think, it's hard sometimes to overcome bad coaching. We've seen it enough, no matter the talent. But there is a lot of talent on that team. But, like you said, the Bears, they've retooled. The line isn't bad, right? Caleb took way too many sacks. He was to blame I think he was the most to blame quarterback for sacks taken last year. The line didn't help him, but the line was also not bad. I think PFF just ranked the Bears line to be a top 5 line in the NFL coming into the season, which to me sounds a little bit absurd. But, there's confidence in what the Bears have up front to protect Caleb. And now they got weapons galore with Rome, Luther Burden. My goodness, I am pissed that he is in a division that's not in green and gold. Obviously, you replace Keenan Allen with him essentially, and you got DJ Moore still a stud. I'm hearing some rumblings about this backup running back y'all got who might be a little bit nicey behind DeAndre Swift. Besides, what's his name, the Texas running back?
Roshan Johnson.
Roshan, I always like Roshan. So Brennan, you give us your final rankings for the division, and let's see where it lines with Joey.
I mean, I got Lions, Packers, Bears, Vikings. I got, Bears, I got 7 and 10. I mean, I think the Bears, they do have a lot of caliber there. It could change, right? I mean, they've got 6 top 50 draft picks in their just immediate weapons, right? They got Swift, DJ Moore, Odunze, Loveland, Burden now. I mean, they got a lot of weapons.
Nice.
It's more so, I got to see it.
Sure.
They haven't been able to prove it in years past, and I do think that they're doing all of the right things down in Chicago. I'm not going to cheer for it, but they're heading in the right direction, and I think they're doing all the right things to make their team improve. And I mean, I don't disagree with Joey. I kind of agree in the sense of there's no more Ben Johnson. He was the play caller. We'll see what happens this year when we got a new player caller in Detroit, but those Lions, I mean, they're deep. They're deep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like I could almost go out there and start calling some plays, and we got to score at least once, right? I mean, they got a deep team out there, and they're scary, but I think truly the Packers can catch them this year. But
all right, Joey, what's the final early before the season kicks off, before injuries start piling up? What's our prediction for how the division's going to round out here?
I don't want to say it out loud because there's a green and gold gross thing climbing up my rankings, and I just want to suppress it down as much as I can.
Shoot in the face.
Yeah. But no, I mean, the Packers are the Packers. So Ben Johnson's opening press conference said he looks forward to beating the Packers twice a year, and that I love. But the reality of that has been they've beat them once in the last decade, basically.
Yep.
So, I think I got to start with the Packers first. The Viking, it depends on the quarterback. It's really tough, but I may go Packers, Lions, Bears, Vikings, because I can't put my Bears last. But it also, like the Vikings, they could either be a juggernaut, like they don't have the quarterback, but they have the coach, and the Lions don't have the coach, but have a quarterback, and it's like, how does that balance? Because they're very specific, and so. I like to drink my Bears Kool-Aid a little bit and have them go up a little bit. They need to be They need to be in playoff contention. I always am like, they got to be playing meaningful football in December because that's what you root for. And frankly, I'm dying for.
Eman, what are your thoughts? Eman, where's this lining up from an unbiased? You're not a part of the division. Where are you coming in with this?
Initially, when I first looked at it, I was like, well, the NFC North may be the most competitive division in football. Just if you're looking at how Caleb is playing now with Ben Johnson and knowing his just genius. I looked at a couple games last year in the Lions, like, he might be one of the greatest play callers ever. So I think that's going to push them up. The Vikings, I think J.J. McCarthy is going to be okay because let's be honest, Sam Darnold wasn't that good. And he won 14 games last year. So I think this might be the most competitive division, and it's hard for me to say. And I do want to go out on a limb. I'm saying it now. I think the Packers going to win the division. I think the Bears will finish second. Lions will take a far, cha-cha, electric slide, step back. I really think those two coordinators will affect that team because I just don't think – I'm with you. Campbell, come on, biting knees and stuff, that's not going to work. So I think the Lions will finish third, and I'm going with Packers, Bears, Lions, Vikings. But I think everybody may win 9 and above for sure.
I mean, I could see the whole division going 1-1 or like just winning one game versus each other.
Easily.
Realistically, it's a very good
That's
division.
kind of what I had, yeah.
Yeah, and the Packers, they could, they're under halfway in the first season last year was impressive as hell. To not have a single pass rusher stand out, really. Sean Gary was amazing as a run defender last year. Took a step back as a pass rusher, doing a lot more. There's a lot more contain as from the edges. We saw this insane rotation across from Gary with like 5 different dudes constantly rotating in on the other side, between Van Ness, Bretton Cox, Kingsley Enagbare was getting a lot of snaps in there. Preston Smith before he got traded. So they haven't really figured out what's going on across from Gary until they trade for Micah Parsons, of course. And then as good as they were, they had a lot of gaps. And the cornerback room is as good as Keyshawn Nixon looked in his first year as an outside corner. Massive leap from being a slot corner. He's CB1 right now. Jair's gone. How will Nixon do in his first full season as cornerback 1? Is Javon Bullard going to be able to take a step? He was getting burned bad. He got smoked in that Vikings game, burning. And, got Carrington Valentine's coming in nice. So I think, again, for me, this is the season for Jordan Love to really prove what is he not. Last year he got hurt. He was playing on a limp leg all year, double leg injury. The first year, looked amazing. He had that, it was a second year starting, kind of a sophomore slump in the sense of it was second year starting, but no excuse. You're kind of at the end of your rookie contract. I think this is going to be a big year to tell us what is Jordan Love, what is he not, if he stays healthy all season, and will those receivers catch the damn ball? Which leads me into the next topic here that we should probably discuss as a Bears v. Packers fan here, Joey v. Brennan. Which offense is going to look more prolific this season, Bears or Packers? Joey, we'll let you. We'll kick it over to you on this one first.
I'm taking my Bears. I know it's going to take a while, and it's all new. But there's something different here. And Caleb, I know it was a single drive in the preseason. I'm not going to read into it because that'll make me crazy. But it just looked different. He looked comfortable. He looked poised. He looked like he was reading his routes properly and able to anticipate the next play and the throw. And he's really, really good. And so I am really encouraged. You mentioned the line. They retooled their whole line. They got Joe Tooney there now. They got 2 new starters in addition to that, which they didn't have last year. And they've invested in the coaches. I mean, even their coaches are better. You got Antoine Randall on the sidelines and Eric Bieniemy on the sidelines. These are guys that are interviewing for head coaching jobs. So I think the last couple of years they've had the skill position, but they haven't had the scheme and the full tools around it to be good, if not great. And I'm really excited about it because I think they're able to finally take advantage of what they have. They may have had a receiver in the past. They may have had a great tight end in the past, but they didn't have the line, or they had that and they didn't have the quarterback. It seems finally there's a group here that exists also, by the way, with an offensive-minded coach that can get the most out of it. And so that's what's really exciting me because we've been dying for a 4,000-yard passer for 100 years. So why not 2025? We can finally have it. Get into the 21st century.
The oldest rivalry in football, half of it hasn't seen a 4,000-yard passer. It's crazy.
Yep.
Brandon, what are your thoughts on that? Where are we coming in on that?
I'll just build right off on that last comment there until I see that 4,000-yard passer. I mean, I got to see it first. I think the Packers this year, it's totally on the wide receivers, their health, whether or not they can catch the ball or not. But I think truly a lot of this year's offense and progression is solely based on our wide receivers. We know what we have in our running back in Josh Jacobs. We're not worried there. Behind Josh Jacobs, we got Marshawn Lloyd. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Marshawn Lloyd in here.
If he stays healthy.
He's got to stay healthy. That's the thing. But with our wide receivers, last year there was a lot of drops, and right now we're missing Reed. We're missing Savion Williams. We're also missing Dontavian Wicks right now. So a lot of this, I think, is going to factor into if our wide receivers can stay healthy. But Matthew Golden is looking great right now. I'm loving every single clip that comes out of training camp with him right now. I think he's going to just skyrocket to our number one right away. Right now, I think he's listed as our number two right behind Jaden Reed, but Matthew Golden, I think, is the real deal. And Tucker Kraft, Musgrave doing that, running a dual tight end set. I think Musgrave's going to take a big leap this year with Kraft. So I mean, personally, I think we've got a more established offense that's been running for the last couple of years, and we're just kind of implementing a couple new rookies here to help elevate that offense and just really finalize that missing piece that we've been missing when Christian Watson goes down for a week. We don't have that deep threat. So I think Golden coming in, Savion Williams kind of adding that extra depth there. I just really love what we're doing. And to top it all off, we currently have 6 starting offensive linemen. I mean, we don't know what we're going to do with Jordan Morgan. We keep trying to roll him out at left tackle, and Ellington Jenkins, he's just too. We got to keep Jenkins there. So I think he's earned that starting spot. Jenkins or Morgan's looking good. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with him in the future because I think Jenkins is coming up on a $20 million contract next year. So are we going to take on that contract, or are we going to move Jordan Morgan over to the left tackle spot? So I think it's going to be interesting here going forward with the offensive line and how that's going to work out. But I'm interested to see how it's going to go, and I don't think it's going to go down.
Okay, Jordan Morgan. Apparently, I believe he's the highest graded pass blocker in the preseason so far for folks with a minimum amount of snaps, which is surprising. And personally, I think Elgton Jenkins. If Micah Parsons comes to Green Bay, I think that's at the expense of Elgton Jenkins. I don't think they're going to want to.
He's not coming to Green Bay. Come on.
I know you don't want to accept that reality, Joey, because he's going to hurt Caleb real bad. And I know you don't want to accept it, but he's come, and Packers got like $31 million in cap space right now. I'm just saying that's going to cover Parsons, especially if that means moving Elgton Jenkins. I don't think Green Bay is going to re-sign him, especially the way they've been building up that line with Belton now, with Morgan. They still have Rasheed Walker there at left tackle to allow you the flexibility to really play around with what your line's going to look like. It is deep. The Packers, they love having a great O-line, and, people bash the shit out of them for taking Morgan instead of Cooper DeJean the other year. And last year, it didn't look great. We can all be very honest about that. Like last year, we could have really used Cooper DeJean when Jordan Morgan was hurt, whatever, he was hurt. It is what it is. You can't really decide what a guy is when he's hurt all year as a rookie. But the Packers really could have used Cooper DeJean's services last year. Eman, back to you as the unbiased third party here. Where'd your head go with this debate?
As far as just offense, I just believe so much in Caleb Williams. I think he won the Heisman Trophy for a reason. I'm just being totally honest. He's way more talented than me than Jordan Love. And granted, I love Jordan Love, can make every throw on the field, but just sometimes maybe 4 or 5 times a game, I'm like, what was that? Like, did you go to the sideline, hit the Zai, come back, and you're just confused who you're throwing the ball to? So, I think Ben Johnson has really settled Caleb Williams down, throwing on time, feeling comfortable. I just think he's just so much more talented than Jordan Love now. One thing I know as a receiver, I played receiver in college, I played quarterback in high school. When you can't catch, that doesn't get better. So y'all hoping that gets better. It's not gonna get better.
But
That
will it?
buttered popcorn is gonna stay in the locker room
Hey,
because it
What?
doesn't.
to be fair, Devontae Adams had a horrible second year. He was dropping balls like Dontavian Wicks was last year. And you know who runs routes like Devontae Adams is Dontavian Wicks. If Dontavian Wicks can figure that out, he can really amount to something. Now, I'm not saying he's the next Devontae Adams, but
Yeah, that's
if
that's
that
kind of hard.
it's hard, but I do think that second year, that third year, when our receivers are the ones that are looked to as, hey, you're the star of the offense here, and they're only in their second or third year, that's a lot of pressure. And I think just bringing in all of these guys, getting these guys older and further into their careers is only going to help, and I think that's only going to improve. Jaden Reed being one of them, Wicks being another. And then I know Watson's out for extended period of time, but as soon as we can get him back, that deep threat is dangerous.
And that was I think a big reason the Packers saw so many drops last year is the offense didn't make sense for the talent. And here's what I mean by that. They ran the ball more than they ever had since 2003, I believe. Jaden Reed leading the team with, I believe, 56 catches, something like that, was the lowest to lead the team since 2003. I believe it was 2003 when Donald Driver was there and led the team with like 50 some catches. So they plugged in all these young receiver talents that have a lot of potential, for their own reasons. And then they would disappear for half the game. It's like Jaden Reed needed to be involved every game, all game, and he would be gone for three quarters. Romeo Dobbs would be gone. Tucker Kraft would disappear. So they had all these weapons to use, but that only really works if you're passing the ball a lot. And the Packers were pounding the rock all year long. So when you're young and developing and trying to get in your rhythm and trying to establish rapport with your quarterback and get your game right, if you're not getting passes, you're not getting reps on the field, live game reps, it's really hard to get right and get good. So I think LaFleur, I think there's a lot of pressure on LaFleur this season to dial in the offense to match the talent. I think it worked and there's a lot of potential with it. But look, if you got all these young cats who struggled last year, they need more reps. They need more consistency. And you can't run the ball like you ran it last year, because then you're just going to get guys constantly disappearing again, and they're just not going to get the reps and skilled practice that they need in live games. Like Lucas Van Ness on defense, right? He used the freaking, what pick was that, Brandon? The 13th pick on Lucas Van Ness, and he's rotating in and out with four other guys. I mean, that's your first round pick. At least give the guy some damn reps. Let him earn something. We don't know what he's going to be if, we're in year 3 and he's getting freaking 20 snaps a game, man. Like,
is this the Packers cast? What the hell is going on here? E-Man, help me. Help me.
I'm saying this is where they struggled, though. Like, there's area for improvement here. Like, there's some flaws that can hold them back this season if they don't dial that in. And
I hear y'all passion, but I'm just being honest, Brennan, and I love it. But none of those receivers on y'all team is Devontae Adams. He was considered 45 years at one point, the best receiver in the league. So I understand y'all optimism, but I'm telling you, butter popcorn is on y'all sideline. Get ready for a lot of drops this year.
Cheesy fingers, baby. Cheesy fingers.
All day. So I told you, Brennan.
The cheeseheads start melting. The cheeseheads start melting a little bit. And I agree with you, man, that Caleb Williams is what he is for a reason. His ceiling is, I don't think anyone can find his ceiling. If someone gets him right and dialed in, the ceiling doesn't exist there. I totally agree with that one too. Let's get to the last one. Let's keep it on the quarterbacks quick. And Joey, start this off for Caleb. What is his biggest hurdle? We saw a lot of clips this preseason and some camp where he's missing the mark and he's making some silly looking throws. Right? We know the talent is there. We know Ben Johnson is going to help. We know the coaching is there. The talent around him is there. What is the biggest hurdle for Caleb Williams from like a Bears fan perspective this year?
It's literally unlearning everything you learned last year. I mean, that's the toughest thing, right? If you're a rookie, they're like, be a sponge, learn everything. And he comes into a situation that's a disaster. As much as Hard Knocks wanted to tell you it was all rosy, it was a disaster. So it's really taking the time to learn what I cannot remember from last year to use this year. And it takes a lot to learn a new offense. It's like learning a whole new language. So while, yes, I think Ben Johnson and he'll be a great marriage, I think that's the biggest thing is he's got to really buy into this new system, understand what that means, and then try to forget all those mistakes, understanding how to stay in the pocket and learn how to take the ball under center and not everything being in shotgun and throwing ahead of a receiver. I mean, these are simple things, but it wasn't taught last year. And he was so much better than the competition at USC that it didn't matter, to where now you're playing against grown men and they're coming after you with all they got. And he's just got to really buy in. And I think the good part is, because a lot of times we've seen this in Chicago, they draft the wrong guy and try to make him fit into a system. I think now at least they're building a system around the quarterback. So if he's the guy, it's set up for success, and it makes Sundays a lot more fun.
And look, I've been scared of the Bears before, but I think this is the most real type of fear I've felt about the Bears. Yeah, I mean, Ben Johnson was the right coach. There was no better. If it wasn't Ben Johnson, it was the wrong hire. So this is definitely the most nervous. I mean, this is the highest ceiling quarterback the Bears have ever had, and it's not particularly close. I mean, anyone could have drafted Caleb Williams, besides maybe Mahomes. It's the highest ceiling quarterback just about anyone could have on their franchise. So definitely a little bit nervous about that one. Brennan, what's the biggest hurdle for Jordan Love to wrap this whole thing up?
Yeah, I think the biggest hurdle this year is just going to be himself, right? I mean, Iman said it earlier, right? He's got 4 or 5 passes per game where it's like, where were you throwing to on that one? And then, last year he was hurt for a good portion of the year too. So I think this year it's a lot about staying healthy. Stay healthy and make great decisions, right? We have an offensive line that's going to block for you. Take your time and pick out, run through your reads. Don't make that bad, silly pass over the middle of the field to the 49ers defensive back to end the game. Nobody wants to see that. That throw still haunts me. So a lot of it, I think, is going to go just down to simple decision making. Those 4 or 5 passes a game, we just can't have that. We can't have those multi-interception games this year. So just getting over that hump, making great decisions throughout the game, and then just doing what you can to stay healthy. Get down, don't take those big hits late in the game. I know the Eagles game was kind of an outlier last year where he did get hurt, and that kind of just lingered throughout the entire season. But I think if he can stay healthy and just get out of his head when he makes those poor decisions throwing the ball, I don't really see what can really stop him.
Got final thoughts on that, Eman?
Nope. Listen, I'm agreeing with both of y'all. Listen, I want to see this good battle this year. I think both of them are good young quarterbacks, both good teams. So I just want to see it go. I have no horse in this race, so I'm gonna watch it from the sideline. I'm all the way in the AFC.
Beautiful.
And I will proudly be chanting Green Bay sucks as I go through the Bears tunnel, as I always do.
And we'll be probably chanting the Bears still suck. The Bears still suck.
Can't wait for December.
Oh, dude, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be an exciting season in the NFC North. Brennan, thank you so much for joining the inaugural episode of Chalk Talk Social with us. Way to hold your ground against Joey. Bears versus Packers. It's the most beautiful rivalry in all sports, baby. Besides maybe Stone Cold versus The Rock. It's right up there. But Brennan, great having you. Well, we'll see you back on here. We'll see you in the Patreon. I'm sure we'll see you in the Patreon.
You broke our virginity, Brennan. You broke our virginity.
Pop our,
yeah, buddy. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Appreciate it, boys. Enjoy your night.
All right, see you. All right, guys. That was our very first one. Great stuff, though. I mean, Ema, how we like that segment?
Man,
I
love
feel like
that
we have to do more of that.
Listen, for sure. And I think more of the time that they get a little open, and as the season going and more is on the line, it's going to be a little bit more going on. So, yes, I like that right there. That's going to be
a bit more
exciting.
Contentious. I can't wait for the passion. And you know what, fans, if you're listening, we're going to start doing fan v fan, like just random, like, it's not going to be part of our show going forward, right? It's going to get heated with people who don't know each other. And I think, again, that's the beauty of it. It's going to be unpredictable, and it's going to be fun. And let's move into the very next fan segment. We're rolling into it now, right? Another topic that's been kind of hot around sports. We're going to move off football here, and we're going to go over to baseball because baseball is finally going down its final stretch here. It's hot. And a couple teams with some MVP candidates. The Seattle Mariners with Big Dumper, the big caboose, Cal Raleigh, really just having an arguably the greatest season in the history for a catcher. And, considering, what he brings to the table on as a defensive catcher as well, like he's got one of the best cases for MVP besides like the batting average, like that we've seen in a while. And then of course there's Aaron Judge, that just numbers galore, but is there some voter fatigue? What we're going to do here with this segment is we're going to let a fan tell us what the deal is. This fan, Seattle Mariners fan, Jared, we'll bring Jared on right now to talk about it. I think, for fans to know going forward, you don't need to be on camera with us. You can be audio. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're comfortable with. We just want to hear you speak. We want to hear what your opinions are. And I know Jared is going to have some opinions for us on the weighing in on Cal versus Judge AL MVP debate. Who should win it? Ema, first off, I mean, we'll let Jared come in and talk, but who you got for this one? Because this one's getting contentious online a bit.
I'm going to tell you right now, he's one shy off that record. I think 48 is the record for the primary catcher. He's one shy. I was watching the game Sunday, and when I tell you that ball might have been 10 inches off the ground, and that sucker got up underneath that. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm a big steroids era baseball fan, so I would listen. He's about 6'2", 230 now. I could just imagine him in that era, about 260, just knocking them balls. But I think Cal's going to get it this year. I'm with you. Aaron Judge just haven't been jumping off media this year to me. I think he's kind of just took a back seat just personality wise too. So I'm if I had to vote, I'll go with Cal, because like I said, Sunday, that home run he hit, I mean, it was like he was golfing and just picked it up and sent it opposite side of the field. So I'm going with him because you very seldom ever see a catcher with this type of power.
Yeah, and he's got all the momentum. He's got all the hype around him. He has all season. Like, fans are all on the big dumpy train right now. But, Judge has been quiet. It's probably because the Yankees have been kind of utter shit this season. When you think about it, their pitching is awful. Boone has just not been a good manager for them this season. He's been making a lot of questionable decisions. So I think Judge has been a product of his environment this year, that the Yankees are just not what they normally are, and their pitching, no matter what they try to do, is just struggling, right? But when you look at Judge, he's got numbers. Raleigh's got him on there, like ribbies and stolen bases and home runs and plate appearances and whatnot. But when you even come down to WAR, like, I think there is a hard argument for Judge still, as quiet as it kind of been. But again, let's kick this one over to the fan. Let's let the fan tell us who's gonna be the best one. Let's bring in Jared. Jared, I know it sounds like you're a big Seattle guy, big Mariners guy. Let's have you kind of weigh in on. First of all, let's just get to it. Who should win it? Who should win it and why, Jared? Jared, can you hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Are we good now?
Yeah,
you can slightly hear you. Yeah, you better talk up, son. Let's hear it.
Perfect. Yeah, no worries. I appreciate you guys having me on this episode. I mean, I think a lot of what you guys were just saying is what I'll echo. I mean, I think what the catcher is doing as Cal Raleigh, I think we'll never see again, or at least it'll be a long time considering what he is doing right now. 47 home runs, 102 RBIs. He's one off of the record, and we're halfway through August. He's pretty much single-handedly carried the team into the position that they are. I think 2 games back now in the division, giving us a chance to beat the Astros. I mean, we got 3 games left against them. I think pretty much his only main hurdle right now to winning it is going to be winning that division. I don't think that there's any argument that what Judge is doing or what he has been doing is utterly spectacular. But, with many sports, I think that there's some voter fatigue there. Judge is doing everything that he can, but Cal Raleigh's kind of taking the league by storm. The big dumper name, winning the home run derby, all of this, playing the toughest position, managing one of the best pitching staffs, is nothing short of incredible. And I think if he can get close to that 62 mark, tying, is it Lou Gehrig, and then Judge had that record recently. I think if he can get 60, I don't know how you can't give it to him when he's catching and playing one of the best defensive catchers we've ever seen. So I don't know. I would love to, hear maybe where your guys' opinions are, but I'm glad I'm on this podcast because it sounds like Cal Raleigh's got 2 more fans than I already have.
Yeah, I think the defense is a big part of it, right? Like, being an elite defensive catcher is like no small deal at all. And for him to be producing as both a catcher and producing as a hitter, like you said, the defensive stuff is huge. It's what makes, if you're a complete player like that and you're putting up MVP numbers, like, I think that is a huge reason why, you got to have both things to it, and you got to be complete. And there is no better really defensive catcher in baseball than Big Dumper, and you add in the hitting stuff. Like, I'm struggling to go with Judge on this one, to be honest. As much as Judge has got him, like I said, in WAR, a little bit higher. He's got more hits. The batting average, he is just smoking Cal on. Like, it's almost 100 points higher. The OBP, the slugging, the OPS. I mean, if you really break it down to even the granular level, like Rowley's got him on something, but, the weighted on base percentage, weighted on base average, you give it to Judge. Weighted runs created, you give it to Judge. Fielding run value, though, you start getting into Cal. Base running value, Cal. Wins above replacement, like I said, back to Judge. So I think it's going to be close. Jared, you too. I mean, he's got anything else you want to add to that one?
And that's why I say, Jared.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Jared. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, he's caught 95 games already this year. I think they played around 125. So you're saying that he's only missed 3 to 4 games total this year? I mean, Judge was just on the IL. He probably missed 7 to 9 games in that stretch. Obviously not too many, but I mean, you're talking Cal Raleigh is playing the toughest position, managing one of the best staffs in the league. He's gotten a caught stealing rate of 25%, slightly above league average. Some of his numbers defensively have dropped this year from last year when he won that Gold Glove. But all in all, I mean, you can't really fault him when he's ripping 47 homers. He set the record for most home runs by a switch hitter. Before the break, I mean, he eclipsed 40. He's one off of the catcher record of tying Salvador Perez. And I believe it's like 7 away from the switch hitter record. And I think 8 away from primary position while starting and playing the position, setting those records. I think if he can get 2 out of 3 of those, I mean, you could say Judge is doing it again, all this. The man's going to DH the rest of the year. And if the Yankees are smart, they'll keep him there. But I don't know, Booney's kind of suggested that he's going to be playing there. And, I think if he switches out and plays in right field, you could see another injury, and then that could open the floodgates for Cal to win that award.
Yeah, like I said, I heard you say earlier, I just think Cal is more impactful in winning for that franchise. I mean, I just think right now they're 2 games out, and we know the Yankees have more wins, but they also have more talent. So I just think when you're voting for MVP, you think about the guy you take off the team. Will the team still be where they're at? Yes, I think without Aaron Judge, I think the Yankees still will be competitive just because they're going to always have talent at the top. So I just think Cal's going to get that nudge because he's more impactful for his team winning this year defensively and offensively.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And, kind of add on to that, talking about some external factors, lineups, I would say now with the acquisitions at the trade deadline, obviously kind of recently, obviously you could say the Mariners made some big acquisitions. Their lineup looks a lot better now. To start the year, I mean, there was some guys in that lineup that I don't know should be on MLB rosters. And then also looking into it, no one's ever said T-Mobile Park was a good hitting place. I would say that it was basically the worst in the league to hit in. No player has ever liked the batter's eye because it's at an obtuse angle. And I think that, Aaron Judge, as much as I, kind of start to chirp him a little bit, he is playing in almost a little version of a Little League ballpark. I mean, the right and left field there, they're not too far. I might be able to poke one out there, but I think what Cal Raleigh is doing is really, really exceptional, and especially in a stadium where no one has really put up these kind of numbers since Griffey, and he might be catching Griffey here at 56 here soon.
Yeah, I think those are great points, right? I mean, it sounds like we're all in agreement with Cal here, and that's not the takeaway with Judge's season. We're not taking away from what he's doing, but I think the biggest point here is like what he's doing on both sides of the ball. He's having a historic season for his position. He's playing arguably the toughest position in baseball. He's catching and calling games for a great staff. And like you said, being out here in Seattle, like generally speaking, these lineups tend to struggle. Like these Seattle lineups, even they barely can crawl into the playoffs. Their leading hitter, most of the lineup is hitting like under 250, 260 under season, and not many home runs are getting hit. People do not hit a lot of home runs at this park. And like you said, with Cal, if you take him out of the lineup, the Mariners do have a really good middle of the lineup, top of the lineup this season. A lot of that's because of what Cal's doing. You got to pitch to these other guys because you got Cal coming up. You got to pitch to them. So you take Cal out of that, I bet we're talking about an entire different top of the lineup situation for the Mariners. Obviously, we're talking about an entire different season outlook for the Mariners at this point. But I think those are all great points, Jared, as to why Cal should get the nudge here over Aaron. And I think the voter fatigue aspect, with Judge being as good as he is, we kind of see in the NBA with Giannis, right? Or LeBron, they only get so many MVPs, and no matter how much they dominate and are clearly a better player, you're going to start seeing other guys start getting the nod, especially the ones who are hot players that season. Whoever's the big name that dominates the scene all year, like they get a little bit of like that little nudge, especially if it's for their first go of it. I mean, unless you're like Joel Embiid and stuff, but like, yeah, I think those are very good points, Jared. I mean, this is the power of bringing the fans onto the show. We get some great points like that. You drop some stats on us. I think that was a good, compelling argument. I would love to. I wish we had a Yankees fan on here to push back on you because that was pretty good. You got anything else, Jared, to close up that argument for Cal's defense here? What's the final thing you're telling the judge and the jury about why this is Cal Raleigh's MVP season?
Yeah, how I'm going to close this one out is, not only does Cal have double the stolen bases that Aaron Judge has, adding that extra aspect, but I think if this team can win the AL West, if he can get to 55 homers, 120 RBIs, which is all clearly in sight where he's projected right around that 62 mark, right where Aaron Judge was a couple years ago, and everyone thought that, he was going to be the best player ever, potentially. Like, people were talking about his seasons like they were nuts. Now that Cal Raleigh's doing it, not a big spotlight in Seattle, I think he leads this team to a division title. He leads them to a potential bye in that first round. I don't know how he couldn't get it after the home run derby, after the big dumper has taken the league by storm already. So, I don't know. I'm a Seattle homer, but I will ride with the big dumper any day of the week. I think his impact speaks volumes, not only because he catches nearly every game, but because he leads one of the best staffs in that motion as well.
I don't know, man. I can't disagree. I can't. I'm a Brewers fan. I can't really disagree with what he's saying. I'm almost to the point where, Jared, I know this is episode 1, but I want to dish out our very first take token to Jared here for dropping just knowledge. I think that was great. Jared, I'm going to give you the first take token. It's virtual. It doesn't have any real currency, but I want to give it to you for you to come back on the show whenever you want to talk baseball, talk football. We'll give you the take token here, and we'll see you in the Patreon to talk about it. But yeah, you let us know when you need to cash that in. We want to hear more of that type of in-depth analysis because I think you could have convinced a Yankees fan from that one. And maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe we'll get blown up by Yankees fans in the comments about why this guy sucks. But I think you could have convinced some Yankees fans with that argument, and I would love to award that with some take token gratitude. Jared, thank you so much, my guy.
Jared.
Yep, appreciate you guys having me on. I'll be on here to, talk any Seahawks football as long as you're willing. Austin, I'll leave you with this about the Seahawks. I saw it was a rough practice for Jordan Love from the 6-yard line. I can send you some info on that, but appreciate you guys having me on, and, looking forward to joining some more.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jared. Yeah, we as he was saying, Packers Seahawks got in a little tussle today. They started fighting. I see Zach Tom, newly paid Green Bay Packers offensive tackle, got in there and started tossing a bit of hands. That's what I love to see out there from my big old line, my big beady boys. I want to see them getting in some fights and protecting our boys out there. So yeah, Packers Seahawks were a little rambunctious, but if we all recall, Packers came rumbling into Seattle last year and laid the absolute smackdown on them. So I think it's all right. We'll have a bad practice, and we saw what the results and during the real season look like, and that's just all right with me. That is going to be, I mean, Eman, how we like that? More? Do we do more of that too?
I mean, listen, I can't lie to you. That's going to be hard to follow, man. That guy really was bringing his knowledge when it comes to that argument for Cal. So, I mean, listen, if that's what we're going to get every week, I mean, this is only going to be a hit. I'm telling you right now, that is great content from a fan. Whew, I got to get my fandom up a little bit better now.
Yeah, I got to get in the stats. Jesus, I kind of felt stupid off that one. That was good. That was good. All right, that is what we're gonna do. Those are the first 2 fan segments. Now we're gonna get into it. This is another fan segment. It's not gonna be involved like that, but just so y'all can kind of get familiar with what this is going forward. What we're gonna do is the banter bucket. We're calling it, right? We essentially are just pulling topics out of the hat that fans are submitting and telling us. And we're just going to get into it. We're going to start riffing on it and just kind of see where the conversation goes. So today, we'll run it up. We'll leave you with 3 topics coming from the banter bucket that fans are talking about around sports that they want to hear a bit more on. Obviously, the big one right now in the NFL. Well, obviously, NFL season's coming up. We covered some baseball. We could get into some WNBA with a record-setting performance last night. I think it was the Indiana. Yeah, Paige. I think it was the 7th highest scoring game in WNBA history. Yep, hell of a performance. Not even a single dildo on the court to to push the performance forward. Great game by her. We could get up more on that. But again, Banter Bucket is y'all fans. You tell us what you want to hear. We're going to cover it. So that's what this is going to be right now. First one being, we got a lot of talk about what's going on with the Colts right now. As we all know, the Colts have not been able to really find a quarterback since Andrew Luck. God bless his soul, was he amazing to watch. And if you were not around to watch Andrew Luck sling the rock, you should get on YouTube and watch some of those clips. They have not found a guy since. And Anthony Richardson, they drafted him to be the guy, but they also knew with him coming out, like, he struggled bad with accuracy in college. And look, the big arm is beautiful, but that only gets you so far. Trying to truck stick linebackers, as we're seeing, doesn't get you so far. So fans are talking about in Colts world. They're talking about Daniel Jones is named the starter for the Colts. Anyway, what's going on here? We got, obviously, like I said, Rich is now on the bench. We got all these things, these rumors popping up. Like, is someone going to trade for Anthony Richardson? Like, I think that would be dumb. Like, I don't think you do that. We're talking about Daniel freaking Jones here. If you're putting your stock in Daniel Jones to the extent that you're going to trade your first round pick recently, like, I think you're out of your skull a little bit.
Yeah, I think Shane Steichen's back is against the wall this year, so he's going to have to win some games. So I think he's honestly just being safe. We all know what Daniel Jones is. He's been regressing since his rookie year. Because initially when he flashed his rookie year, I was kind of thinking, well, maybe this is not a reach from the Giants. But then as he started to keep playing, and let's be serious, Brian Daboll has been a quarterback whisperer since his time in Buffalo, how he improved
Josh
Allen over there. I don't know why my mind just went blank. Josh Allen accuracy.
How dare you?
So he wasn't able to help Daniel Jones. Now, I do think Shane Steichen has this offense where he can utilize a guy that's not as accurate because Hurts was not that accurate coming out of college. And Shane Steichen was able to get production out of him. So I just think he wants to win some games. He's going with Danny Dimes. I don't think Richardson's career is over.
No.
But when I start seeing quarterbacks wanting to be rappers, like, I don't know if you've heard any of his songs, they're just trash. But
talk to me about it.
Listen, once I start seeing NFL players not focus on the thing, which is the main thing, I just lose all faith in him. So I just hope he can get it back. He's young. He's 23 still. And once again, we've seen Geno Smith and Sam Darnold in their third team get it back. And he has all the gifts, but potential get coaches fired. So at this point, I'm going with the sure thing, Danny Dimes. Let's win a few games and move on.
I think with Danny Dimes, what they did, I think it's almost like, with announcing Daniel Jones as our starting quarterback, you also announce, and with the 7th overall pick in the NFL draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Daniel Dimes replacement. I don't know. I'm not sold on Danny Dimes. I'm like you said about Brian Daboll, I'm surprised that didn't work out in New York because I was I thought that was the perfect pairing for Daniel Jones, is giving him Daboll after what we saw with Josh Allen. Did they put the receiver talent around Jones enough? The running back talent? Probably not. Was the O-line talented? I don't think there was enough pieces there in totality with the entire Giants team to build around a raw prospect like Daniel Jones. He wasn't, he didn't come out of Duke like this prolific, no doubt type of thing. He could be like a Geno Smith, like you said, where, maybe he just needs a change of scenery. That said, we've seen some classic instances of Danny Dimes, of Danny Not So Dimes this preseason so far. I'm not entirely sure he's going to be the answer. He's got good talent. Michael Pittman's a good talent. Donnie Mitchell, good talent. They got the tight end Warren out of Penn State.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, like, the offensive line is his best offensive line he's probably ever played behind. I don't even think it's close. The Giants' offensive line, they couldn't get shit right there. This is probably, Steichen, he's not an idiot. This is probably the best system and situation that Jones has found himself in. It's kind of like Jordan Love. It's like, all right, bud, it's time to nut up or shut up a little bit. Like, what are you? What really are you at this point? There's far less reason for excuses with what's around you and where you're at in your career at this point. It's never easy when you're changing systems and moving around. Like, we've seen enough quarterbacks with far more talent coming out than Daniel Jones not make it. because their system is constantly moving around and changing. So will he be able to come into a new system, do well, play well, stop missing receivers downfield? We know he's a good runner, but I don't know. I'm still like, if I'm a Colts fan, I'm like, we just signed up for a top 10 pick.
Yeah. And I'm a little scared because Minnesota letting him go kind of made me think, like, hold on. J.J. McCarthy, Daniel Jones, I'm not sure. So that's a little scary, but we're going to see it. Now, I do think his career will end if he does not have success in Indianapolis. With all the talent he had, everything you went down, if he does not have a good year this year, I think he might end up a career backup for the remainder of his career. But we'll see. But I'm with you. As a Colts fan, we better hope that defense just really bite a lot this year because not sure.
Yeah, I was surprised too. Like Minnesota, he went there. I was like, well, Kevin O'Connell, you got dogs around him, you got Hawkinson, all the weapons. The old line needed some work, but like you thought that was going to be maybe something, and maybe it was for the sake of money that like, hey, you know, we're just not going to do this whole thing, and we're not even going to mess around with it. We're going to draft this cat, roll there, and Daniel Jones, you know, kick rocks. We'll work with what we got because we got the coach who we believe in can take younger, cheaper talent, and then we can build around their first-round pick rather than spend money on Daniel Jones to get God knows what. So they're
nothing.
Yeah, see, honestly, I was kind of, I was like, maybe with Minnesota, maybe, but, he's going to the Colts now. Anthony Richardson, like, not ready to give up on him at all. The talent ceiling's there, but look, it's hard when you're bad at processing, you're bad at accuracy. Those are two pretty big things to be bad at.
He's injury prone. He's been getting injured since he walked in the league, and it's like the best ability is availability in listen. So.
Damn right. That's his problem. He just keeps trying to bulldoze middle linebackers. And look, man, trying to reincarnate the Cam Newton's MVP season.
Won't
just
happen.
Stop trying so hard, right?
Yeah,
Jeez. Man, just be yourself and do something else. Stop running into middle linebackers like that. Speaking of quarterbacks, let's get into the next banter bucket topic that we got from fans is another big one. I mean, this is no surprise that this is a topic. Joe Flacco. He does not die. The ghost of Joe Flacco. Starting in Cleveland, how is this one going to play out? Like I am this quarterback room. Only the Cleveland Browns would put together this quarterback room situation.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you now. I got to be honest, and this may be a little reach. I feel more comfortable with Joe Flacco than I do about Daniel Jones because you got to remember last time Joe Flacco was in Cleveland. You know, he ran off a former record, got him in the playoffs 2023. Granted, his percentages was around 65. He only had maybe 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I just don't think that the answer is in the room. I know. Really? Listen. I know a lot of people, they're going to attack me. Dylan Gabriel's not the answer. I mean, we just got too many years to see that those small quarterbacks just don't succeed in the NFL. I mean,
Russell Wilson?
We can have a debate on that. I just think Russell Wilson teams were more defense, Legion of Boom, talent around him than who he is because he's shown outside of that he can't. I mean, he hasn't been able to win outside of Seattle.
He can also place a deep ball better than anyone in football. That's about it.
Which Dylan Gabriel can't. So I just don't see a left-hand guy that's 5'9" just succeed. And I'm just
hold up. I gotta pause you there. He's 5'9". No way.
He might be shorter. No, he might be shorter. They said no. when they came in, they measured him. He was under because I think they had him listed at 5'11", and they say
that's what I'm seeing. 5'11" with cleats, perhaps.
Exactly. He looks small in that preseason game. And I mean, I just got a good eye just playing on I'm 6'3", so I can kind of look how it goes. He's 5'9". I just don't see it. And like I said, I just never been a big left-hand quarterback guy anyway. But I just don't think Shador is the answer either. I think Shador needs talent around him to be who he is. I think he'll be the best of the two rookies, but as the talent in the room, will he be able to put that whole offense on his back? I just don't think Shador is that. So I just think Joe Flacco gives them the best chance to win now.
I mean, and then there's the Deshaun Watson thing. Like, we forget he's there, and I don't think it's talent-wise, Deshaun Watson's the best quarterback in that room.
For sure.
When he's playing, when he's not doing when he's not on the massage table getting funky.
That's what I was about to say. It's heaven and earth from Rush Hour 2 in Cleveland. If not, he needs heaven on earth.
Oh boy! I was like, it's just with Shador. It's look, take away all the shit, the ego. The ego's a problem, right? You can't be barely making a roster and flexing the. I don't care how many people on national media want to be, oh, Shador, like great games. Like, brother, you're fourth string. You're barely you're on the chopping block, and you're out here flexing the ego as if you got the job and you're the almighty, right? I think there's a fair argument for Shador he's talented. I think to deny that's crazy. I think there's a good reason why people maybe thought he was a first-round prospect. I also think there's a very good reason why he dropped. I don't think he should have dropped as far as he did. I think there's a good reason why he did. And I think it comes back to the personality, the baggage around it. Can he lead a group of men on the football field and not make it about him, not make the whole show the Shador show, right? That worked for Deion prime time because he was the best player in football, damn near hands down. He's a two-sport athlete. I mean, he earned the right to have that ego. And as much as it probably pissed people off, I don't think I was even in the world when Deion was doing his thing yet. But I'm sure as much as it pissed people off, like he earned that. Shador has earned nothing. And when you got grown-ass men around you in that locker room, how is that going to work out, right? So I think there's a lot of he needs to mature. He needs to kind of grow up a little bit because I think, like you said, between him and Gabriel, I'm on the same boat. I think he can be better, higher ceiling than Gabriel. He doesn't have any special type of arm talent by any stretch of the imagination, but he can place a ball. And then he can move around. He's not like the fastest cat in the room, but he can do good things. He's got to check some stuff, though. And it seems you would hope that draft slide and how that all worked would have humbled the guy a little bit. Doesn't seem like it did, but he's also, I mean, obviously you got the Gabriel comment, and I think Shador just replied. I can't remember what Shador Sanders, like I saw today, he like responded to Dylan Gabriel's comment. I mean, I don't know if you'll have to pull that up, but I think he said something in response to the Dylan Gabriel comment, but I don't know. Only the Browns would find themselves in this situation with this quarterback room, and I don't know if it's gonna work.
But you gotta honestly think though, just as an organization, they've never really got it right. You kind of let Baker Mayfield out the door, and look what he's doing. I mean, last year he had 45 touchdowns. He's rejuvenated his career.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably – people won't admit he's probably top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now.
Right now, yes.
So, like I said, I'm with you. I'm big on that ego thing with quarterbacks. I just don't like it. I mean, and the Carolina Panthers wasn't a good team. It was guys that probably won't make a roster. So I get it. It's your swag. It's your persona. I want you to be confident about what you're doing, but understand nobody game plan for you. Nobody had any dynamic defenses going on. So just do what you needed to do. Get back to it. We'll see though. I mean, and like I'm with you. He has arm gifts as far as accuracy, not the strongest. I think he's a little bit more athletic than people give him though. Now I did see a few flashes where I was like, oh, well maybe he could get away from defensive ends and linebackers in the league, but I think just the story's out on him. Not out on him yet. I just want to see how he develops mentally and things too. Undisciplined. Like I've been hearing about the speeding tickets. I'm just being honest. I get it. Everybody drives fast, but I don't want a quarterback who just got drafted in the 5th round with everything looming over him to not have some type of maturity in him to say, hey, I don't need to be speeding in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So
And
that scares me too.
I know Todd McShay, Mel Kiper swinging in air hearing about this because he considers Shador Sanders the greatest player in this draft, and I love Mel Kiper, draft dad. I've loved him since day one, but the way he was fawning over Shador just never made any sense to me. And I think it comes down to what you said. You're the quarterback. You are. If you're going to lead the team, you got to lead from the front, with an example. You got to set the tone, set the standard. I don't see Shador doing that anytime soon. And he looks nice in preseason a little bit, but that doesn't change that his ego hasn't changed at all in what he's bringing in. That's going to rub vets the wrong way. It might be cool with some young cats. It's going to rub vets the wrong way. And so can he lead that room? Can he lead a locker room? That, to me, is the biggest thing, because I think we all agree the talent is there for the most part. But, yeah, we'll see. Who knows? It's the Browns, but god dang it, I'm curious to watch how this quarterback room is going to play out. And it's going to be a storyline all season long. It's going to be drama all season long. The moment Joe Flacco has 2 bad games, which will Joe Flacco have 2 bad games even? Like, old man Joe Flacco can kind of, like, ball out.
Can wing it, yeah. Can wing it. Can wing it. Who would you go with at this point, though, Austin? Would you go with your rookies and just see what you have in them, or you got to win some games?
You got to win some games, because you didn't draft any of these rookies to be ready to take over today. You drafted 2 rookies like Gabriel and Shador. No matter where they got drafted, those are sit for a year, 2-year type of guys that need to learn from a vet. I think it's good that they have a Super Bowl champion, Joe Flacco, in the room, someone who's been around the league for a long time, done things the right way, been a staple in the NFL for, he's made it this far for a reason. Right. And like we said, we've seen him at an old age still doing his thing. I think them learning from him, just like Jordan Love learning from Rodgers, and, now going over to who's the backup in Pittsburgh now behind Rodgers again. Oh shoot. Oh man, this is embarrassing.
Mason.
No, they got rid of Rudolph. Oh gosh, this is gonna bug me. Will Howard. Yeah, sitting behind. I think him sitting behind Rodgers, that's going to do great things for him. And there's going to be a lot of situations. And to me, you let Joe Flacco run with it. You try to win games with him. He's going to be able to run that system, Stefanski's system. There's still going to be a running team first and foremost. But Flacco he's the best passer in that room. God knows what's going on with Deshaun Watson. Just God knows. I think it was the right decision to bring in a vet that you can actually rely on, to let Shador and Gabriel learn, and you let Shador and Gabriel battle it out. Like it's a scene in Batman with Joker, with Heath Ledger Joker, breaks the pool stick in half, throws one on the ground. One man walks out of that room. The other man, you're a trade piece. That's what I want to see from those backups. And who's the future of the Cleveland Browns quarterback will be the half the pool stick on the queue on the ground. Who wins that battle is what that needs to happen. Last thing, let's move into it to wrap up the show today. The last banter bucket topic that fans are talking about. Big deal this season, and not because I'm biased on this topic, but are the Milwaukee Brewers, moving into baseball now, are the Milwaukee Brewers the real deal to make the World Series? I see a lot of things out there with people who get paid a lot of money to have opinion saying that the Brewers are still less favorable to win the World Series than teams like the Dodgers, the Cubs, the Braves, all these teams that have worse records than the Brewers against above 500 teams. And the Brewers have a actually tremendous winning record against all these teams. So did they slide against the Cubs recently? Yeah, they're my biggest worry with the Brewers, to kind of get right into this one, is they have been obviously on fire. 14-game winning streak, longest in franchise history coming off of that one. They're not hitting a bunch of home runs, but good Lord, are they getting it done in every way. The pitching staff, top to bottom, relievers, top to bottom, the Brewers, top to bottom of their lineup. When you got top to bottom on pitching and hitting coming through the way they are, and your worst hitters are getting hot, you're going to win a lot of ball games. Sure. But did they do it too soon, right? When you get this hot, you're going to cool off. And now we're seeing towards the tail end of August in the series against the Cubs, the pitching struggled. Jacob Mizorowski, he's struggling. This guy is as phenomenal as he looked. And yeah, I bought a rookie card. I bought a gem of a rookie card. You absolutely betcha. He has struggled ever since the Brewers came to Seattle. He could barely get out of the second inning. He's getting into the third inning with 70 pitches. He's struggling. I bet you see him go to the bullpen. Woodruff, worried that the Brewers got a little bit too hot, a little too early. That said, there's no denying that this is a very much World Series caliber team. Anyone telling you different has not checked the tape, has not checked the data, and I'm not sure what they're sniffing. But it ain't the right thing.
Yeah. Now, I do say Baseball's like a 400 in track to me. It's okay to get out good for the first curve, but on that back stretch, you got to kind of relax a little bit and start turning it on when you got 150 left. You got to have a kick. So now I don't want to panic because I'm like you. I thought they was about to get swept in that series against the Cubs, but they pulled the fourth game out. But I just want to see if they're going to be able to finish. When you're running the 400, you have to have a kick at the end because that's the momentum going into 350, 375 through the finish line. And I think getting hot at the right time in baseball is always a great thing. If I had, and I'm a guy where you just look at teams, you look at organizations, you just look at everybody, and you just go with what it is. If I had to bet, I would say no. Because I think the last time they went in as a number one, 2018, and before that was like 1982. So we're saying two times. It's 2025. I was born in 1982 too. So shout out to my 80s baby. Two times they went in number one seed and did not come back with a World Series championship. I just don't think it's their year this year. Now, I will say in the next 2 years, if they can keep the team together, maybe, but no, I just don't think this year will be their year.
And that hurts me to hear you say that because I'm 30, right? This is, as a millennial, this is the best Brewers season and team you've ever seen. And when you add in that you got Baseball America saying this is the number one farm system in baseball, right? They're built for right now. They're built for the next 5 years. This team, maybe 6-7 years. They got Churio locked in long term. It looks like they have the future at the pitching staff at the top of the rotation with Mizorowski. And my only real concern is, are they going to go into the playoffs a little cold? That said, they're getting Churio back come playoffs. He's been out. I think it's going to be great timing to get him back. Yelich is having only, 21 games in, 21 days into August. He's got the second most home runs of any month this season with 6. He's getting hot at the right time. Getting him permanently in the DH spot has been so good for this lineup and so good for getting Christian Yelich back into MVP form. And look, it's like it's the season of Bob Uecker, right? It's the power of friendship, as they say, the Yelich and Uecker power of friendship. Like, look, Bob Uecker didn't finesse any demons here. I think he's up there working magic with the baseball gods is what I'm thinking. And something's going on. He's doing the right things and pulling the right strings from the heavens above for the Milwaukee Brewers, because I don't think anyone came into the season expecting this from the Brewers. Actually, I'm confident no one expected this season from the Brewers, where now we're talking about a plus 165 run differential. Folks, it's not even close in baseball. No one is even sniffing that run differential. They have the best record versus above 500 teams. They have 657 runs scored, which I believe is second or third in baseball, and their runs allowed is like very low comparatively. When you look at the other top teams in baseball, the Brewers' 492 runs allowed is the Tigers are at 526, the Phillies are at 505, Blue Jays 572, Cubs 516. Those are the next top teams in baseball. But then you got the Dodgers at 573, so the pitching staff is getting it done. But they've not been as effective on the road. Like I said, they're 39-23 against teams above 500. That's best in baseball. But, when it comes to a road game, it comes to the timing, again, worried about cooling off a little bit going into the playoffs. That said, they've proven they can beat everyone. And that's where my confidence comes in, is like they swept the Dodgers. They take care of business against the Cubs minus this series. They smoked the Braves. So in terms of like, if I'm placing a bet for the World Series, knowing that, and this is my fun one, this is a fun one. Since the All-Star break, or July, one of the two, I can't remember. The Rockies, the worst team in baseball, Colorado Rockies, had more wins. This was as of yesterday, had more wins than the Los Angeles Dodgers. So the Dodgers are, they're one of those teams that got all the talent, but will it work?
But you got to understand, Austin, talent knows how to turn it on when it's time to turn it on.
Yeah.
And but October, we've seen what he can do in October, and as well as I know, sometimes that make the Avengers into the pretenders in October. I'm telling you. So I just think and it's a story season. We love to see it. I love to see small market teams like that just really just go. I've been to Milwaukee once actually. Fine place to be. Fine place to be. But I just but I mean, it wasn't my best. But I just don't think it's their year. Like I said, that series against the Cubs kind of let me know, like, and then you got to think the Cubs with a little bit more kind of oomph to them can make a run because their pitching has been some of the best pitching in the major leagues this year too. So I just think it's a little too early. We got 30-something, 34 games left maybe in the season. So I think it's kind of early, but like I said, if I was a betting man, I would bet not even making the World Series this year.
Not even making the World Series?
Not even making it. Not even making
Who's making it? So you're taking the Cubs or the Dodgers to make it?
Cubs and Dodgers calling it
now. I'm gonna reach the screen.
I'm calling it now.
Reaching the screen and fight you right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fair, right? Cubs, they got Kyle Tucker has cooled off. I think he had an injury or something, but he's cooled off in the worst way. Pete Crow Armstrong, he was an MVP favorite, has cooled off in the worst way. He's looking at Javi Baez 2.0 out here, where just a strikeout machine, and then he can't figure out how to steal a base and slide. But and they could be this thing of the reverse Brewers where they start getting hot at the right time now. Like maybe they start getting healthy, PCA starts getting back on track, and they start getting hot. That says, as a Brewers fan, I know what Craig Counsell is capable of. Cubs fans, I know you've seen it, what Craig Counsell is capable of in terms of managing a bullpen and managing the lineups. Like, he can be a liability himself in terms of how to manage a game. I've seen it enough. And I'm a big believer that Craig Counsell has held back some pretty darn good Brewers baseball teams. And I'm sure there's a lot of Brewers fans out there that are going to agree strongly with that. So, I don't know. It is tough. I agree. I think where we agree is if it's not this season, the window is all the way open for the Milwaukee Brewers to be a World Series contender for the next 5 to 7 years with what they got coming up. Worst case, they end up trading some of these pieces and they get a big name player. They're getting some great production out of some guys like Isaac Collins, who, he comes up and he's like all of a sudden an a Rookie of the Year candidate, which he was never a top prospect for the Brewers. You had Caleb Durbin coming over in that trade for Devin Williams, and that's looking like a fleece now. Devin Williams goes to New York, and he can't pitch anymore. And he was arguably the Brewers' best pitcher in totality. Exactly. Yeah. And now you got Caleb Durbin has been pretty darn solid for the Brewers. So, I mean, a lot of things are going right for Milwaukee. Can they keep that up?
We'll see.
Not even be scared. Not even be scary. I don't know.
I mean, we'll see. I will see. I'm telling you, Chicago just got the Cubs just got some confidence in almost sweeping them in 4 games. Good. So I just think that's going to be dangerous. Yeah,
lots of talent. I mean, the NL's no joke. AL be competitive, but you know what? I would love to see my Brewers. Last time they made it far was the Dodgers in the NLCS. A very winnable season or series. They had them on the ropes. They were ahead, and then they just totally blew it. And that team was way worse than this team. So that's kind of where I'm like, they could. I would say 50-50. 50-50 for me that they could make the World Series.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty good odds. I'll take those odds. If I'm a fan, I'll take 50-50.
Man, knowing what I've gone through the last 25 years with the Milwaukee Brewers as well, just to say 50-50 that they could be in the World Series is like, that feels,
put money
on it. It feels like I won the ring. It feels like we got the trophy. All right, let's wrap it up there. We've gone long. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the very first episode of Chalk Talk Social. You can catch me and Iman and fans and media guys and athletes. We're going to be here talking to you every Tuesday, every Friday, spitting sports. It's going to be different shows every time. That said, the only thing that's not going to change about this is there's going to be fans or fan involvement or fan-based topics and conversations every single episode, so you as the fan can feel heard, your voice is heard, and then you're coming on and we're quite literally hearing your voice. You shape the show, you shape the coverage, you shape the culture. We're thankful for y'all to listen along. Like I mentioned, shameless plugs. Go join the Patreon, right? I got to say this because we're new. I'm sorry. Go join the Patreon. It's Sideliner Sports. Everywhere you look, you doom scroll. Join us next week on Tuesday when we come back with another one. Hopefully we got a media figure coming in for that episode to talk to y'all. That said, fans, reach out, get on the Patreon. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining this first episode, y'all.
There it is.
Woo!